Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sons Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to your first episode of Two Sons Podcast. If this is your third, second, 40th, 35th, 27th, welcome back to another episode of Two Sons Podcast. While we're on the topic of Two Sons Podcast, because this is Two Sons Podcast, this should actually be our 49th episode. So we are one episode away from 50, and I'm thinking we got to do something pretty special for 50. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll figure that out in time. As usual, I am your host, Joey Karuba, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host of a brother, good old Philip. And we are very excited to be back today. Excuse me, I'm just itching my leg. We are very excited to be back today. Again, apologies for the lack of everything. I know I probably say this every other week or so, but it's impossible for us to keep a set schedule, at least of right now. Again, hoping for a lot of things around the corner and stuff. But as long as we get stuff out, we get stuff out, and that's the important thing. Um, so before we get into everything today, the topic of our episode is we're going to do another little bracket breakdown, similar to how we did with the Pixar movies. Excuse me, but we are going to be talking about Disney animated and live action films. So you may be asking, random Two Sons podcast viewer, hey, Two Sons podcast, um, animated blows live action out of the water. Eh, you know, I can agree, but I can disagree. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be based on how much money things have made. This isn't going to be based on, this is going to be our personal opinions. We might debate some things. I don't know how heavily we may feel about some things because in Disney's game, a lot of live actions definitely have not met up to par with animated, but we can talk about maybe why that is so. What's the difference? Is there any point in it? Who knows? Live action has definitely become a lot more prevalent in the coming years, and it's going to continue to do so. Um, Also, we will be talking about just a couple other movie related things. There's some things I would like to talk about, some things my brother might want to talk about, just to get into the episode since we haven't been around for a while. And we'll pretty much go from there. But I'll let some I'll let my brother do some of the talking, and we'll go over how we're doing. I think we already know how we're both doing because we just had a conversation about this. But why don't you let our wonderful, amazing, beautiful viewers know how we're both how we're doing today?
We are both mentally unstable.
That sums it about up. All right, let's get into this episode. Um,
Ooh, nice water bottle.
yeah, thank you. I got it from Marshalls. Guys, if you got a Marshalls out there, highly recommend. Good stuff, low price. This is an ad, but Marshalls, hit us up. I'll gladly do an ad for you. Um, so as you guys know, Barbenheimer is in full swing now. Barbie and Oppenheimer, two very different movies, but they have been sweeping and blowing away the box office in the last 2 weeks. I believe this is its second weekend, and I will tell you from experience, because again, I'm still at the theater, it has not stopped. It has been sold out showings from the day it has opened to now. I don't foresee it really slowing down until next weekend, maybe. But I will say, both of them sold out showings. Barbie is slightly more popular because of the rating. Let's not forget Oppenheimer is a rated R film, but I don't have any of the numbers in front of me, but off the top of my head, I know Barbie has already passed 500 million worldwide. So I honestly see Barbie getting to that $1 billion mark, if not probably high 800s. Oppenheimer is rated R. I probably foresee it to going 2 to 300 million. Um, that is very high for a rated R movie, but it is Christopher Nolan, and it has gotten a lot of traction. I know it already had traction before it came out, but it is also 3 hours long. But I can say I have heard great things. I was gonna go see it tonight, but I got to work early tomorrow. I don't really foresee myself going and getting 3 hours of sleep afterwards. So I think I'm gonna hold off for now until I have a day and go enjoy it, maybe in IMAX or something, how it's supposed to be done. Barbie, been hearing a lot of interesting things about it. Been hearing a lot of good things about it. Uh, Pink. Everybody I've seen for this movie has been in pink. And I got away with the hi Barbie, hi Ken for a while, but that's all I've been hearing this weekend. I literally walked out of the kitchen and then all of a sudden, hey guy, hey Barbie. Like, I don't know what's going on. But one of the things about working at the movies is I enjoy people coming and dressing up and showing that they're enjoying something. So definitely, go out, watch Oppenheimer in a suit, go out, watch Barbie in a pink jumpsuit, do whatever you want. But definitely, those are the two hot movies right now. But I'm looking for a slowdown in the upcoming week with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, the Turtles. If you guys don't know, this movie actually comes out on a Tuesday, I believe. It should be coming out this Tuesday, which definitely is going to be interesting because of the how priced are the tickets. But this has actually been on my radar more and more because I've been seeing more clips on TikTok about it and Instagram and stuff. Excuse me. I've been seeing clips of interviews from the cast, with Seth Rogen, Ice Cube, and the four boys. I'm sorry I don't know their names, but I know one of them was Gumball in the Amazing World of Gumball. And we also have a star-studded cast, again, like I already said, along with Post Malone, Paul Rudd, uh, Jackie Chan. There's a lot more. I'm not going to go over it right now because I don't know the list off the top of my head and I don't want to butcher it. But the animation style looks really good. It definitely gives me Spider-Verse vibes. Definitely not as like heavy on certain things, but I like the style. I like that again. They sound like kids, and a lot of the things they've been saying has just been kind of stupid, funny humor that I like. Again, they're just using the word sus. They're using like just different words that you would not maybe associate the Totos with or anything. But it's a short movie. It's like an hour and a half. Again, it is a kids film. I don't know how crazy action and stuff is going to be, but it looks like it's going to be a fun time. Definitely keep that on your radar. It is going to come out this week coming up, and I think it. I don't know if it's going to dethrone Barbie or Oppenheimer, but I know it's going to probably compete with them this weekend. Also, Mission Impossible, Indiana Jones still out. Those are really the big ones. Uh, horror movies coming out. Couple of little ones here and there. But getting off of that, as you guys know, the writer and actor strikes are still going on, and we have actually heard some news in regards to some movies starting to be delayed. Sony's Craven the Hunter is supposed to come out this October. It is moved a year back to August of 2024. Already bad news for that movie. I don't foresee it being good, honestly. I hope they go through reshoots, but with what's going on right now, that's not going to happen. So I'm feeling Morbius vibes on this one. I have, hope, but we all had hope with Morbius. So I don't think this is making more billion. Um, Beyond the Spider-Verse has been halted from what I know. So you Spider-Verse fans, I don't see it coming out in a year. It's probably going to be another 2 years. Everything else I have not heard has been delayed. Pretty much anything that was slated for October, I think is still on track, but we're not sure with everything. So we'll see what happens, but expect some news. Definitely look on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you guys look at. And things are probably going to keep on getting delayed and stuff. Shows I'm not very, sure with. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Other than that, those were the little things I really wanted to get out of the way before we jumped into this episode, just because, again, a little bit of news for you guys. We haven't done this in a while. Also, August, TMNT and Blue Beetle. Those are the two big movies that are coming out. Blue Beetle is projected very, very low. Projected worse than Black Adam. Personally, I didn't mind Black Adam. Blue Beetle looks like fun. I hope it does better than what it's projected. But if it's projected that less, DC's not in a good set right now. So let's see. Let's hope for the best. And definitely be on the lookout for that. But other than that, Philip, if you got anything to include, if not, we'll jump into the episode. Yes, you, the mammoth.
Okay. Sorry, I got confused. Honestly, no, not really. There are really only two things I just want to touch quickly upon before we continue with the episode. One, My brother never did it because he doesn't love me.
Okay.
But there is an episode out on YouTube at Two Sons where I broke down and reacted to the Spider-Man 2 gameplay. And a lot of people just don't know it's out because it wasn't posted on any of the social medias or anything.
Okay.
Um, so it
Interesting.
doesn't have too many views. But if you guys are interested and want to go see that, like I said, it's at Two Sons on YouTube, and it's only like 25-30 minutes, and I basically just show you guys the gameplay, and I just make some comments and react to it, behind the scenes. That way we had like an episode to put out for you guys, towards the end of last week. So please go check that out. And then second, Marvel Secret Invasions has finished. It was only 6 episodes. And I think I could safely say that this is probably top three when it comes to MCU shows. I know we talked a little bit about it off camera, but it's either top three or top four. I don't know if it's better than Moon Knight, because I really did enjoy Moon Knight, but I could definitely put it over like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, like without even blinking an eye. Um, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier too. I did enjoy that one, but I definitely enjoyed Secret Invasions more. I think my top three for me personally would probably be Loki, WandaVision. Probably, it's still close between either Moon Knight or Secret Invasions, but whichever one I put third, the other one goes fourth. So I mean, it's right up there. Um, I think if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10 Suns. I mean, I don't think it was perfect. Sometimes the CGI looked a little wonky. But honestly, that's really the only complaint that I have about it. I mean, I thought the main antagonist was great. Um, and really, the only complaint I have is the CGI because, towards the last couple of episodes, especially the final episode, the CGI just kind of like looked all out of whack and, didn't look too great. But, otherwise, the story was great. The characters were great. Like I said, antagonist was great. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson coming back, he was great. And I'm interested to see like how this leads into the Marvels, because with the show ending, we can confirm that this is probably this probably takes place before the Marvels TV show. Um, but I don't know if they came out and confirmed like where it fits in the timeline. So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend go check it out. It's on Disney Plus. It's only like 6 episodes long, so it really should not take you that long to watch it. And yeah, I mean, otherwise, the only other really things I talked about was on Max, My Adventures with Superman. That show is still going pretty strong. I've been enjoying it. Really, no complaints. At all. And the summer anime season is still going strong. A lot of great episodes out. I mean, you guys know all the animes that I'm watching by now. So I mean, all of them have been really good. And yeah, I mean, the only thing that ended that I watched personally was just Marvel Secret Invasions. Everything else is still ongoing. Um, so yeah, I mean, go check those out. And that's really all that I want to talk about. I didn't really have too much else to talk about. Oh, well, I guess because it's been in the back of my mind and I've been hearing it a little bit. August 4th, the second Meg movie comes out with Jason Statham. And I mean, look, the first movie was, it wasn't the greatest, but it was funny and, it was a good time. So, I mean, if you like giant monsters or animals and you just want to see like a giant prehistoric shark like just tear things up, then just, go see it with your friends or your
I
family.
think
I
this
mean,
one has sharks.
it does. It does plural. It has
Plural.
sharks.
Yes.
Um, so I think me and the grandparents are probably going to go see it because our grandma's obsessed with the shark
Yeah.
movies and the monster movies. So she wants to see that. Um, but yeah, otherwise, oh, and then starting Tuesday will be August 1st, and then the countdown will begin for the Ahsoka show coming out at the end of the month. So really looking forward to that. Haven't heard too much about it. It hasn't been delayed or anything, as far as I know, and it's set to come out. I think maybe like August 23rd or something. So like towards the end of the month. Um, in other news, I don't know how factual this is, but it's been rumored that there have been talks with Keanu Reeves to possibly play a character in the Star Wars Acolyte show.
I heard about that.
I really hope this is not Disney's way of introducing Darth Revan, because if if it is, Star Wars fans will riot. I mean, you think Disney is up in flames now? Wait until they do this. Because everybody wants Keanu Reeves as a fan casting for Darth Revan. And obviously, Darth Revan takes place in the Old Republic era, but the Acolyte show is taking place in the High Republic era. Um, so, Disney being Disney, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to like rebrand Darth Revan, like for their era and put him in the High Republic where he doesn't belong. Or at the end of the day, Keanu Reeves could just be simply playing a badass character. I mean, I think there's just been like talks and whispers about it, so I don't think anything's been like confirmed or officially announced. But just thought I'd throw that in there because me and my manager were talking about it the other day. So other than that, it's been kind of quiet. Obviously with the SAG strikes and the other organization. I don't know what the other organization is called. Um, but obviously, thoughts and prayers go out to them. Hopefully they get the justice and equality they're looking for, and we'll see what happens for the rest of the summer and especially the rest of the year. Um, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So just to dive right into this video. Um, we are doing a Disney live action talk pretty much. And I found out, a good way to do it was to kind of like, introduce the brackets again, similarly how we did to Pixar. So I found a bracket that matches up like Disney cartoon movies and Disney live action movies. And at the end of the bracket, there will be a winner. That doesn't mean that like the winner, like whether it's a cartoon or live action, like that's the better one.
Yeah.
It just depending on how our bracket went and what we chose. I mean, that's what it is. But if anything, this is going to show, whether the cartoon versions or the original versions stand up to the remakes, and if the live action ones make any difference. Because I know Disney's Haunted Mansion just came out recently, like 2 days ago, and obviously nobody's really talking about that. So that just gives you a good example about Disney live action.
It's not
And there's
doing
obviously some controversy around the Disney live action Snow White that they're making. Whether the set leaks and the pictures are real or not, nobody knows. But uh, Disney is not really in the best spot right now. I know we talked a little bit about this off camera, but in their like last 5 or 6 movies, they just haven't made their money back. They're losing millions of dollars. In my mind, I think they're getting too what's the word I'm looking for? I guess progressive is a nice neutral word to I think they're more worried about diversity and meeting every single quota that they possibly can than like actually putting out good content. Um, and we see that especially in the Disney live actions when they kind of like, change the stories a little bit or maybe, cast certain, actors or actresses. And then obviously, with some of the most recent Disney releases, although they might have been enjoyable films and ones to go, and watch and have a good time, obviously monetary wise, they're just not making their money back. And, I mean, this includes like, Marvel movies, the latest Elementals. I'm pretty sure like, did the Teenage Kraken movie come out?
Yeah, it did, but it's already out of theaters.
Yeah,
It's
so I mean, again, so just like that. So I mean, it hasn't been that great of a trend. I was really hoping this Haunted Mansion one would kind of like boost morale a little bit because it had a lot of star-studded people in it. So I thought it would be a pretty funny movie. I would like to go see it because I like the Haunted Mansion, and I think it would be a good time to go watch it. But I heard from our dad that it wasn't the greatest movie, but it was funny, so it might have
small
that going for
theaters
it.
are doing well, but it's not selling out big theaters. Again, I heard the Rotten Tomatoes was horrible, but again, for a kids movie, hopefully it does make its money back. But again, that's what Disney has been barely doing, making its money back. They've made no profit. Again, if we look at we're not going to pull up the numbers, but if we look at, like my brother said, the last 6 movies Disney has put out live action wise, even probably one of the most popular ones was the live action Little Mermaid, and it made a pretty penny, but it did not make its money. It didn't make money. It made money back, but with all the marketing and everything that Disney puts into their films, they don't make the money back. Especially Elemental. Elemental started to boost more money once people started to talk about it, and you really saw what it was on social media. But I think it broke even. And same with Little Mermaid, it might have broke even. Hard
I
to
mean,
mention.
honestly,
I think it's gonna be.
I think at the end of the day, the most successful Disney movie this year has probably been Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And again, I don't foresee what's the next big one that you got for Marvel coming out. You got the Marvels. Now again, Captain Marvel made $1 billion. That was a very different time. I don't foresee the Marvels making close to that. Now I love the new look of the poster. One of the best posters Disney has put out for Marvel in a while. Beautiful poster. Um, Film. I'm interested to see how the three main leads act. Other than that, I'm not super hyped for it. Again, maybe I'll do an episode or something, or maybe we'll talk about it in a movie news episode at some point. But again, I think we both foresee Disney, really slowing down in the movie industry,
I
because
mean, don't get me
they.
wrong. I mean, I'll always love Disney. I mean,
Oh yeah, Disney's great.
I love going to Disney. I love everything associated with Disney. But it's just a shame. And I think I don't know if it's like the CEO of Disney or somebody important in Disney like actually came out and like admitted that like what they're doing is not working
I
and
think
they
it
need
was
to
a
change.
CEO.
So I mean, the fact that they like recognize that there's a problem, like hopefully that means that they're on the right track to an upward trend. And then I think the person in charge of their like diversity and like marketing department like just up and like quit. So it's like again, like that kind of goes to show maybe a little bit like scandal or something. The fact that again, Disney's focusing too much on like diversity and quota, and they're not actually giving you a good story. They're just making sure that there's a person of every single walk of life in a movie, and then that's all they care about. And then they're just like, oh, let's hope that the story or the remake that we're doing for the 200th time lands and it does well.
You
Like I
know
said, I
what's
mean, all these
interesting?
movies that they put out have been enjoyable. It's just that again, when you look at it from monetary value, according to Disney, they're not knocking it out of the park. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You know what's interesting? Uh,
Oh, and then I'm sorry, before you continue, I want just to comment on the Marvels. Uh, I'm not super excited about it, but there are two things that concern me. One is that how are fans going to react to like I guess the three Marvels? You have Monica Rambeau, you have Kamala Khan, and obviously you have Captain Marvel. Everybody loves Captain Marvel. It made like $1 billion, so people, everybody knows where their loyalties lie when it comes to Captain Marvel, right?
yeah,
Monica Rambeau, she was in WandaVision. She didn't play a super important part. She kind of got her powers like towards the end of the film. I mean, I'm sorry, towards the end of the show, and then all of a sudden there was like a post credit, which a bunch of scrolls. So it's like it kind of left you in like a weird place where like, okay, well, where's this character going? Like, I mean,
yeah,
first of all, there was like, WandaVision, and then now all of a sudden it's like, okay, now she's with Nick Fury and Scrolls. So it's like, what is going on? And then obviously Kamala Khan. Now, look, I mean, you've never watched Miss Marvel yet. I did. I personally didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed it a little bit better than She-Hulk, and that's saying enough because She-Hulk was like absolutely terrible. Um, so it's not too much better when it comes to at least my standards. But how are people going to react with all three of them? Because obviously people might have a fan favorite. So people might not want to go see the movie because it has Kamala Khan or Monica Rambeau or I think
yeah.
if it was just a pure second Captain Marvel movie, it would be great. I think he would make another like 500, maybe like $700 million. I think it would be great. But I think because they're adding these two other characters, and then the other thing is they're adding these characters in because now all of a sudden there's this thing where like their powers are connected, and like when they use their powers, they like teleport each other to like different places.
Yeah,
It's like
I
I
do
don't
not
I think that's just
understand
kind of
where
like
they're going
lazy
with this.
writing, you know?
And I truly think that the direction that this film is going is because it's going to lead to something bigger. And that's the problem with Marvel, is everything needs to lead to something. And at this point, Captain Marvel's her movie isn't her movie. This isn't a Captain Marvel film. This is the Marvels, like the title says. And I guess you can understand that. But again, it's just, how can you explain our powers are connected? Like just like that. I know Kamala Khan is a fan of Captain Marvel. That can't be a reason why they're connected. They already changed Kamala Khan's powers anyway. Monica Rambeau, I think her name is Photon in the comics. I don't really know what exactly her power is. Again, throwing me off. I
I
don't
mean,
know
honestly, when you
how
look
I
at the
feel.
trailers, I mean, whether you look at the teaser trailer or the official trailer, it's not really giving you enough where you're just like, okay, yeah, like I'm invested. Like this is gonna be I do have to admit there were some points in the trailer where like I might have smiled or like chuckled just because
Yeah,
some
there
of
was
the
some
acting
funny
is funny.
moments
But
like
I
that.
think the whole thing with their powers being connected is just lazy writing, and they're just looking for an excuse to bring all these three characters together. And I mean, obviously, we're going to be having Nick Fury come back. So I mean, in what capacity is he gonna be back in? Are the Skrulls going to come back? Are the Kree going to come back? I mean, so
And
there's just a bunch of questions that are unanswered, and we'll see. But I think when it comes to at least Marvel, are there any other Marvel projects coming out at the end of the year besides the Marvels?
Oh boy.
I just saw a tweet the other day by Marvel for a teaser for Loki season 2. Does that come out at the end of the
Yes,
year?
it comes out in October, I think actually.
Yeah.
I saw
So
a post.
I can bet my
That's
money
what it was.
now that the second season of Loki is going to be more popular than the
By far.
Marvels by
By
far.
far.
And I think the second season of the Loki show is going to save Marvel for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. I don't think there's actually anything coming out after the Marvels for a while besides Deadpool. I don't even know if Deadpool's the next thing. I don't see that's the problem. I don't know what Marvel's actually got slated
I mean,
because it doesn't
obviously
seem
it's kind of tough now because with all the strikes and stuff going on, anything that was slated that was set to release, you don't know if it's going to stay the same. So everybody's kind of like in a hiatus. It's kind of hard to talk about these things when we don't have enough information to go on. Anything that we're saying is just kind of like up to speculation and like up to suggestion. So I mean, just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously we're not experts. We don't know if
yeah.
these projects are still going on or
I'm not
when they're supposed to come
meticulously
out.
following it. I just if I hear about it, I hear about it and I tell you guys. If not, again, it's none of my business. I'm not in the industry. We're just a podcast and we like talking about it. Just like this. Anything we say regarding live action and Disney, don't take it to heart. We both love Disney. We've been to Disney plenty of times. Again, Disney goes in a certain direction that unfortunately it don't make them money. As much as they want it to make them money, it's not going to make them money. And like I was saying earlier, Disney proves that if they make something original based off of something, one of their projects. For example, take Cruella. Cruella was a very popular film when it came out. Now I don't even remember when it came out. I don't know if it was pre-COVID or after COVID. I can't really remember the time. But all I know is it was fairly popular. Don't know how much money it made. Don't know how much it made back. Based on 101 Dalmatians, obviously. Similar, made money, but different. Now, I'm a fan of a couple of different live action remakes, and there are a couple of different live action remakes that change the story and characters. Mulan being one of them, Little Mermaid being one of them, and I'm a big fan of the new Little Mermaid. But again, it's when they make these live action remakes, I wouldn't call it a remake. I just call it another story based on the original animated cartoon. And that's really what a lot of these live action remakes are becoming. And again, who knows what the truth is regarding, later we have a Moana, a Lilo and Stitch slated. I don't know how those are going to be. I see the cast for a Hercules. We have a Hercules slated too. I love Hercules. I don't see the live action being good. I'm sorry. Even if they
Probably
cast,
like the most like anticipated one though. Like out of all the ones you just mentioned, like I think the live action Hercules would probably be the best.
and the problem is with a lot of these animated movies. Take Moana for example. I don't want to see anybody else in the role besides the two actors that played Maui and Moana. I don't. That's just because that's how I envision that movie. Now, other characters could do it justice. They could, but personally, I can't see that happening. Lilo and Stitch, it's not necessary. It's not necessarily one bit. And again, you could say, oh, it's nice because it's a little bit more modern. I get it. I get why Disney likes more modern and stuff and I can understand a lot of points, but this is all for money, and we all know that regarding Disney. Is Disney no matter they are probably the richest, if not one of the richest, movie companies, entertainment companies, whatever you want to call it. They basically own everything at this point, and I truly think that if they continue to make these live action movies, yeah, people are gonna come out and see them. They're not gonna make their money back. They're gonna blow a budget. And honestly, it's gonna kind of ruin some actors and actresses. Again, you could cast people that can do it justice, but you take these animated classics, and it's very hard to keep up with it in a sense. Like for example, Halle Berry, beautiful singing voice. I thought she did the character of Ariel pretty good justice, but it's it it's a little different than the original in the sense of how it can exactly live up. Again, Melissa McCarthy, love her as Ursula, but those vibes we get are a little different. Sebastian, again, I think David Diggs, or he was in Hamilton and stuff. I think he did pretty good considering,
Well, you know what? The live action Little Mermaid helped me realize that Sebastian is not a lobster and he's actually a crab.
yes. So see, live action can help in that sense. It could teach us a thing or two. But before we, both get on a tangent about things, anything we say regarding live action animated, we're not gonna, say that we're shitting on live action because we're really not. Even though
No,
we're
we
a
are.
little bit more negative.
Yeah, we
What?
are. No, we're shitting on live action. Yeah, we are.
Okay. But it is just a little difficult in the sense of, how classic Disney um is with their movies
I think to
and
like
that they
further
want to
your
do it even
argument,
more.
like I think to further your argument about live action is like not only like, I mean, do I mind that they make like live action takes like on these like Disney classics? Like, no, I don't. But the problem with Disney is that again, they take this concept where okay, let's take this classic Disney cartoon that everybody loved. All right, let's do a live action take on it, right? So you think just straight copy and paste, right? Find, actors that look like the characters that fit best for the characters and then move on, right? No, Disney does this thing where as they transition, they take little bits and pieces out and they put in again, their quotas for everything. And then you have it turning into something where, in some cases it's like, how is this a live action take on the cartoon when the characters don't even look like the characters and like, things are different. Again, not every live action Disney, film does that. But, I mean, there are examples, again, like I don't know how true, these pictures or, comments are about, the live action Snow White, but what they're doing to the Seven Dwarfs is just completely wrong. I mean, because first of all, they're not even encouraging what's the word I'm looking for? Little people is that the correct
Dwarf,
word?
dwarfism, I would say probably.
Dwarfism. You're not even
Yeah.
encouraging these actors or actresses to come forward for the roles. They probably have a hard enough time like finding work as it is. I
Hmm.
mean, he's Peter Dinklage is probably one of the most well known in this case.
Probably
But
the most well known, I would
right,
say.
so I mean, again, this could be an opportunity for an actor or actress, of that situation. But you look at these like first shots or photos, they're just random people, and of course, like they're all different, races and ethnicities and everything. And I mean, to go along the fact that Snow White is Hispanic. Now, again, is that really a big deal for me? No, it's really not. I mean, again, I haven't seen too many photos, but she looks, okay as Snow White. But then I heard that they're not going to include the prince because now she's like an independent woman, and so again, it just seems like they're going in that direction with such a well beloved classic Disney princess, and it's like, how do they think that this is okay? I mean, how do you think? I mean, people will go watch it. Yes, they will. But then they're also going to come out of the theater after watching it and being like, "This was crap. Why did I watch it?" So they'll
Yeah.
get the money and they'll get the views, but then people will come out and be like, "Why did I even watch this?" Good thing that Or again, people will wait until it goes on the streaming service that they already pay for, and then they'll be like, "Why am I paying for the streaming service if they're just putting out crappy movies and stuff?" I mean, again, the I don't know what it was called. I don't know if it was like the Peter Pan and Wendy film that they put out on Disney Plus. Like, my grandparents watched it. They couldn't even watch the whole movie through because it was just a totally different take. Again, that whole thing with bits and pieces, and it wasn't for them.
Yeah, and I think like, if you guys are out here like listening and stuff, I think one of the biggest things with live action is, you know, you can say like that, hey, these actors or actresses are meant for the role and maybe they don't exactly look the part and stuff like that. The only problem is nobody's really gonna have a problem with that, in that sense of again, actor fits a role, whatever, put them in a role. But when it gets, kind of like like, my brother said, like if it gets, what's the word, fidgeted
Aggressive.
with maybe a little bit, or if it gets like turned around a little bit, it starts to not be the same story. And if Disney wants to make a story that's similar, make a story that's similar. But the only
Or
problem
I
is
think the number one
branding
thing
it
that Disney
as
should do, which I don't understand why they don't, is create new stories, create new princesses, create new characters, and get that diversity quota that way. Stop taking these old timey, traditional, classic cartoons with all white characters and just, a nice, simple story, and then putting your own spin on it and diversifying them into live action. You don't need to. You have writers, you have creative people. Like, I mean, are you telling me that you cannot find a way to be creative and create new characters like what was the most recent one that I'm thinking of? Encanto. That was brilliant. That was a totally new idea. It was awesome. It was a great film, and that is the type of Disney stuff that we need. It wasn't based off of any princesses or anything that was done in the past. It was a whole brand new idea that shed some light on a whole new culture, a whole new part of the world. And it was exactly what we needed. Everybody loved it. We don't talk about Bruno was like the most popular song for like months.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the type of stuff we need. We need more stuff like that, not this, excuse my language, this live action bullshit that they're putting at us. Okay.
Yeah. And
And I mean
again, like,
that's the nice way to say it. I mean, we could tiptoe around it, all day, but that's just a nice way to say it. They need to be creative. They need to start using these people that they hired to explore different avenues, make new stories. Like Raya and the Last Dragon was awesome, and Kanto
yeah.
was awesome. Again, stuff like that. I mean, hello. I mean, I think Raya and the Last Dragon just opened up a whole new conversation. I think if I'm correct, I think it was like based in Indonesia or like
I believe
some like like
not against
southeastern like Asian culture and whatever. And again, you didn't have anybody like that. I mean, you had Mulan. I mean, she was the closest thing, but again, two totally different cultures and ethnicities. And I mean, so again, I mean, I don't want to ramble on about it too much, but I mean, that's basically how I see it. I think they need to, I mean, these live action takes are fine if they're done correctly, but I think sometimes Disney shoots themselves in the foot, and I think they need to start expanding and being more creative and finding different ideas in other places. So, I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I'm gonna put my foot down, and I said my piece.
Yeah, it definitely is hard. Like, I get like sides of both, especially when you think about when like a lot of Disney's originally animated classics were made and like the time that it was, and like, yeah, like it's a very different time now and everything. But again, that doesn't mean that Disney can't make these just how they originally did with these stories. Is these stories, even if they were based off of, a book or a poem or something, because I know that's the case with a lot of stories, do the same thing, but again, introduce, like they did it with Frozen. They did it with Frozen. Like my brother said, you did it with Encanto, you did it with Raya. Pixar did it with Soul. I mean, you're able to introduce new characters and new movies. You prove that you, even Luca, you're able to prove that you can introduce, whether it's a prince or a princess or whatever is going on. They've been able to prove that they can do it. Why they can only do it once every 5 years, I don't know. Again, live action, if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, honestly, who cares? Nobody's begging to see a live action film of anything. In 5 years, I'm sure there's going to be a live action Frozen. And again, I think we understand why Disney goes in a certain direction, but we're not that type of podcast, and we're not going to get into that. We're just really here to talk about live action and the original animated cartoons. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff surrounding live action is, similar to what we're talking about. And, just a statement from me and my brother, don't take anything we say to heart or anything, and don't think that, we're these jerks or anything that, hate difference of characters or anything. Like, no, that's not the case. Like, again, like, I've loved the actors and actresses that has portrayed different characters in these live action remakes. But again, it is hard to call it a remake when a lot of things have changed regarding, different appearances or whatever you have. So, and again, Disney, I know you're out there somewhere, probably on my computer listening. If you're not listening, again, be original. Like, you prove that you can do it. You're Disney. You're supposed to create wonder. You're supposed to create magic. And let's create let's create a new atmosphere. Let's actually have, like, I
Atmosphere.
love that they are able to introduce these new cultures with Raya, with Encanto. Keep doing that. Go ahead. I mean, I know they got something coming out called Wish. I think, oh my God, what is it? What area of the world? I don't know. It's a different culture again. I don't think it's a princess. I think it's just some sort of movie. Excuse me. I don't know how it's gonna be. Um, but again, do something like that, whether it bombs or not, because regardless, you don't make money. You're not making money. You're barely breaking even. If you break even, I don't call that a success. So, just again, I think the thing I'm hoping to get out of this is just that Disney starts to really get their creative juices and minds going again. Again, there was a time where they were starting to do that, maybe mid 2000s. They definitely had plans for Encanto, for Frozen, for all these Pixar movies. Like I know they had these plans, and I hope to see the plans, slated again. There's a movie coming out called Elio, I believe, and it's based off a real story about an Argentina kid. Listen, it's a Pixar movie. It doesn't look terribly great, but at least it's something new. At least it's something different. And I think that's what you want people to see, especially, again, I love that you include everybody. But what we can do is we can also make a movie that includes includes people that should be seen, and it actually pertaining to them. The story means a lot more that way. Think about the people that really loved Encanto, because that's for that culture. That's for them. Same with Raya and the Last Dragon. Think about how, again, I know people love that. I think about how revolutionary Princess and the Frog must have been for Disney. And I know there's controversy around Princess and the Frog. There's always going to be controversy around Disney. But again, that's that's for people that can look and they can see themselves on the screen, and that's what I think Disney should keep on doing, because again, that's so important, and that's something I love about movies. But just wanted to get that clear with everybody. We're not trying to bash anything. Again, like, yeah, we are kind of both bashing Disney because of just how they've gone in this way, but we're not bashing anything. We're not bashing the people. We're
It's a
not.
love-hate relationship. We're not
Yeah,
bashing like any of the
yeah, just
actors or actresses, but we're bashing Disney because sometimes they can be a little silly and a little silly goose, and then
a
other
little
times they
silly
get it
goose.
right. So
But before we both get on a tangent, let's jump into the bracket, and let's see what we think. Because I honestly don't even know what some of the earlier live action Disney movies are, so I'm interested to see what
yeah,
actually
well,
happens.
I think this bracket will be kind of easy for us
Oh
because I
yeah,
mean some of these for starters we might have not even seen.
yeah.
So we might be able just to kind of like breeze through those. I mean, I don't know if these are definitely not all the Disney cartoon movies and Disney live action movies because that would just be way too big of a bracket, or it might be actually. Let me share my screen real quick so we could get into it. So this is what it looks like for all you wonderful viewers at home that could see the screen.
Hmm,
So if I scroll down, got a pretty decently sized bracket.
pretty cool. Yeah.
But I actually have it up on this because there's an option down here where it says like use matchup mode. So this screen up here pops up so that way like it's easier for us to see what the movies are and then for the viewers to see what the movie is. So I think we could just select it this way and then like it will just appear on the bracket if that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Very cool.
So, all right. Well, I mean, let's start. I mean, the way this mode works. So obviously we're starting on the left side, and we're probably going to be going down or across.
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. We have the cartoon version of Disney's 101 Dalmatians, and then obviously the live action of Disney 101 Dalmatians. Now, for starters, it's been a while since I've seen both these movies. I remember watching the live action 101 Dalmatians. I don't remember much about it. I know I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I did not love it. 101 Dalmatians as a cartoon, again, it's been a really long time. But again, I think if I had to look at it personally, I think I enjoyed the cartoon a little bit more. Because if anything, the live action 101 Dalmatians is kind of is a little more confusing now because of Cruella and like when that came out because obviously like Cruella was like the origin story of the
Yeah.
villain from this movie. So the fact that they would have somebody else playing her and then they make a movie about her and they have Emma Stone play her, which she did phenomenal by the way. Um, it kind of throws like the live action version like for a loop. So if I had to choose between the cartoon and the live action, I'm gonna go cartoon on this one.
Okay. Can you remind me? I don't know if you could see it on the screen. Who was the actress that portrayed Cruella in this live action film?
Um,
Because I feel like I know this actress.
If it does, it's like in the very bottom, and I just cannot see what it says because like it's all white on the bottom.
I just want to see if I can find it real quick, only because I know Glenn Close. Okay, that's why it is very familiar. Glenn Close, phenomenal actress. I know
Actually,
she
it says
killed
it at
it.
the very top. It says her name
I
at the
couldn't
very
read
top. I
it.
just didn't. Yeah, I didn't realize that was her name.
Yes, she is. She's a popular actress. I know she did phenomenal, and I love her portrayal as Cruella. And a part of me thinks that live action can give you, what's the word? Like, I don't know if it can make you necessarily feel more, but like if like think about it. Like think about the story of 101 Dalmatians, right? I feel like seeing that portrayed in live action is definitely more screwed up. But again, I feel like just because of what animation can do, you can portray a little bit more emotion in the sense of the dogs rather than the humans, because I don't give a shit about the humans in this besides Cruella. But I care about the dogs more. And I think you see more emotion in the dogs in the original animated one. So I'm gonna have to agree with my brother and give it to the animated one. But I do gotta say I love Glenn Close as Cruella. Everything else in the movie, again, whatever. But just because of the fact
You
that the animated gives the dogs a little bit more of that personality and really shows like the story and emotion of the film. I think the animated one is going to take the cake on this one.
do you prefer this actress as Cruella or Emma Stone?
Now I gotta say, because of like the difference in what exactly or who Cruella was in the film, I think they both do it justice. I think Glenn Close played a great like bitchy, weird, psycho Dalmatian skinning woman, and Cruella, Emma Stone played a good like young, fresh kind of like Dalmatians. I don't really know. I think they both did well in their own terms. I don't think I want to pick one over the other.
I think Emma Stone's version really didn't really focus on the Dalmatians until like the very end, where you got like a sneak peek
Yeah,
at like
it was
the
more
two
about like her.
parent Dalmatians. You know,
It was like about. I don't
it was
really.
more about
It
like
was
her
about,
upbringing, like how she became Cruella. You know, I mean, it
yeah.
was so that's why you classify it more as like an origin story, because like that's how she became who she was. So then by the
Well,
time you meet her in 101 Dalmatians, you know why she's the way she is.
yeah.
All right. So second on the list here, we got again, we got the cartoon and the live action version of Alice in Wonderland. Um, I think I might have seen the cartoon version maybe like once, but for me, there's nothing that beats the live action because I love Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter. I think he is freaking hilarious. And he like, and then especially the woman that plays the evil queen because she's so short and has like such a big head.
Yeah. That's like the one that's always like opposite of Johnny Depp. Forgive me again. I don't remember her name, but she's like she was also. Oh my God, what is? You know what? No, I'm looking it up. Might as well. Got a computer in front of
Give
me.
it up.
What is this? What are we on? Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland.
But his version of the Mad Hatter like takes the cake because he's just such a phenomenal actor and like he just like ate that role like right up.
I feel like because show me. Um, is it? Is it? Is it? Just freaking show me who plays the Queen of Hearts. I don't know if I'm getting her name right. Um, I think her name is Helena Boham Carter. She was in like Harry Potter, and she's been in a lot of things. If you saw
Oh,
her, you
okay.
would know who she is.
Did she play Bellatrix in Harry Potter?
I believe so. She's like kind of the weird one.
Okay. Yeah,
But
okay, yeah, so she did. Okay.
I also gotta agree with my brother. I think because Alice in Wonderland is so weird, and because Johnny Depp and that woman are in that film, as much as you could say like like the looks are a little scary, kind of like a little weird. Like the Queen of Hearts, yeah, she looks weird, and Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter like looks mad, like and like same. But that's the point of Alice in Wonderland, and I think you can
Right.
kind of portray that a little better in live action because that's what our minds can actually figure out.
Was just about to
You
say
know,
the same thing. I was like, I feel like in this situation, like live action works a little bit better than the cartoon version does. Because,
yeah,
you get that sense of weird in the cartoon version. Like, I mean, obviously, like, you got the Chester Cat, like, right here. And I think, it looks great, like, cartoon wise. But, like, again, with what Alice in Wonderland is and, like, the vision that you have to have for it, I feel like it makes more sense in live action.
yeah, like again, that's why I think this is one of those takes where it's actually like, yeah, live action does make sense, and I think people would want to see that. Um, so yeah, I think live action for this one.
Alrighty. Okay. We got. Oh, okay. So this makes sense. All right. So we got the Disney cartoons. Movie Sleeping Beauty. And then we have Angelina Jolie in the live action Maleficent. This one's kind of interesting because I feel like it's two separate stories that are part of the same universe. I feel like
Yes.
obviously with Sleeping Beauty, we're following, more of the princess, obviously. We know Maleficent's in it, but in the live action Maleficent, I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like, Angelina Jolie and, Maleficent, they're the main character and not, I think the princess's name is Aurora, right? That's who Sleeping Beauty is.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not following Aurora so much. I mean, we see her in the background right here. But I don't think she plays the main part. If I had to choose like a main protagonist for the film, it's definitely Maleficent. It's definitely been a hot minute since I've seen the cartoon Sleeping Beauty. I've seen the live action Maleficent, a couple times. I think Angelina Jolie does a pretty good job. Um, uh, this one's kind of tough. I want to hear your opinion on it before I make a decision.
So what I think of both these films, right? Again, like you said, Sleeping Beauty is Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent is basically a movie about a character in that film being the villain. Now, I like movies about villains, and I actually like to see their story progress and, from kind of their point of view and stuff. And I do like Angelina Jolie as Maleficent. I think her face definitely fits the look, and I like the story of Maleficent when they show her as like a young girl and kind of why she grows this hatred for like this particular area of like humans and stuff. Um, I don't really remember Maleficent too much, but I do remember it coming out. Um, I think there are better prince and princess movies out there, and personally, I like a movie more about a villain than I do about a prince and a princess. I'm giving it to the live action Maleficent.
All right, I think I will follow you, and we'll give it to Maleficent too, because I agree. I think there are definitely better cartoon princess movies out there that could go before Sleeping Beauty. So
Nice.
okay, this one I feel like should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think when we look at both the Cinderella's cartoon and live action, um, cartoon takes the cake like automatically. It's one of the
Agreed.
most classic movies in Disney history. I don't think I've ever actually seen the live action Cinderella movie, to be honest.
I've seen part
But
of it.
I feel like again, this kind of correlates to what we just said. I mean, there are other Disney movies out there, related to princesses that are better. And I think in this case, the cartoon is definitely a lot better than the live action.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
agree with you. That animated takes this one.
Also, shout out to our mom because she loves Cinderella. So we're
Yes.
picking the we're picking the cartoon one for you because I know you probably like this one definitely better than live action.
Yes, definitely for sure.
Okay, the
This is an
Jungle Book.
interesting
This is a
and
more interesting one.
off the bat, I have not seen the Jungle Book, live action or animated. But
Hmm.
from what I know, the live action Jungle Book has been regarded as the best, if not one of the best live action adaptations. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I know it had a star-studded voice cast. I know it was directed by Jon Favreau, amazing director. Um, I don't know if there was. I don't know if the music was in the live action Jungle Book. I'm not sure. Um,
I feel like when it comes to movies like this, I think both adaptations of this movie are great, but it just comes down to what's better. Just feeling classic and nostalgic, or just appreciating a newer idea or take, not so much of a take, but just I guess visual concept. Like is the story of the Jungle Book or the idea of the Jungle Book better when they use real life animals in a boy, or does it is it more nostalgic and classic, just watching it as a cartoon?
so I'm gonna go based off of one thing that I know about the film because I've seen clips of the Jungle Book. From the way the villain looks in the Jungle Book in terms of the animal with the tiger and stuff, I feel like that villain look is a better look than the live action one. Don't get me wrong, I love animals and I love seeing these Disney films with the live action animals. Personally, I love seeing that, and I continue to do that. Be my guest. Um, I don't know much about the music. I know it has a good musical score. But I feel like from the clips I've seen of the original Jungle Book, the music is a little better. Um, because there's another live action and animated movie, both relating to animals, probably on this list. That is going to be another interesting talk. Um, Actually, I don't know if I can make a decision because I was gonna say animated
Just
only
let's see.
because of
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Like I mean, right down here we got The
Lion King is
Lion
on here.
King. Yeah. Man, this is
Okay.
hard. I mean,
Have you seen either of them? I've seen clips of both. I have not seen them in full.
I think I've seen the cartoon version, and I've only seen clips of the live action one. Again, it's just it's basically, does the fact that like the animals are real, or like they're CGI versus cartoon, does that make it a lot cooler? Than, because again, for me, it's like, which one takes the cake? Like a newer idea, or like the nostalgic classic feel, of, you know, a project that people might have grown up with.
That's true. Like again, like I'm not sure what the story is behind the bear and the boy. Like I think they're friends. Like you could see the look is very different,
Let's put it like
obviously.
this. I think me and you are probably going to agree when it comes down to the Lion King. I think the classic one is going to take the live action one, right?
Most likely. I do have a lot to say about it, but most likely the
Right.
classic is going to end up taking the
So
cake.
I think if the classic version of the Lion King is going to take the cake, then maybe we should go live action for the Jungle Book at least.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
do
All
it.
right. I mean, they're both great adaptations, but for the sake of our sanity, we're just gonna go live action for the Jungle Book.
It's just
Um. Okay. Pete's Dragon. I've never seen it. Never even heard of it.
yeah. I've didn't even know it was an animated film. I have heard of the live action one. Didn't really hear anything about it. That should be saying something. I'm just gonna
Now the
assume the
question
animated was
is, yeah, either that or this poster kind of goes hard for the live action. So should we just
better.
choose the live action because it has a cool look?
I mean, if it's got a cool look and we know nothing about it and it's a dragon,
Well, let's see who would be going up against. Okay, well, I think Jungle Book would take it, no matter if we choose the cartoon or the live action, right? So it doesn't really matter which one we choose here.
choose the live action. Get that green
All right.
dragon up there.
Okay. I'm sorry, Pete's Dragon. We just never seen it. Okay, this
It's a,
one is going to be a good one, right?
it's a,
And
yeah,
again,
it is.
here's my opinion on it, right? Both great films, right? Cartoon Beauty and the Beast, great film. Live action Beauty and the Beast, great film. I don't remember the actress's name, but the actress that plays Hermione Granger plays Belle,
Yes, Emma.
and
No, it's not Emma Stone.
is it Emma
Emma
Watson?
Watson. Emma Watson.
Yeah,
Yes.
and she does a phenomenal job. Uh, Ewan McGregor is the voice of Lumiere, so I mean, just you got
I
to open
also
one
want to
candle.
say the the there's a. I'm just gonna play the song for you guys. There is a song that the Beast sings in the live action movie that is a little bit different from the animated one. And oh my God, is it phenomenal? Because I was thinking about that and the live action song from The Little Mermaid. Oh my, where are you? Where are you, Clip? So bear with me one sec. That's another thing I love about the live action film. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Just keep bearing. We Bear Bears.
I'm with you.
That's a
We're bearing
show.
with you. Don't worry.
Bearing with me. Come on. Come on. Oh God, it's not this far
This is
back,
gonna
is
be a
it?
hard choice, to be honest. I mean, I feel like I want to go with my gut, but I feel like I could be persuaded for both of them, to be honest.
No way, it's this far back. That's true. Depending on our talk, we can definitely go to way. No way, it's this far back. Is it?
because I feel like when it comes to like both of these adaptations, like the classic is obviously a classic. It's the masterpiece. It's great. Everybody can sit down and watch this. But in this instance, you have a live action take on it that is just as good, you know? So like they match up like perfectly well with one another. So it's like, it comes down to that classic conflict where it's like, what's better, the nostalgic feel and the classic, beauty of animation, or, do we do with the new vibrant live action approach?
It might even come down to, like, for example, like, how, what is the story behind these films, and like how does that differ from the animated part? Like, is oh, I found it. Okay, hold on. So it's this. Okay. Absolutely fantastic. Don't know who the Beast was played by, but your vocals hitting, my guy. Um, Again, sorry, I was spending time looking for that. I love both of these films. I think Beauty and the Beast is one of the best Disney tales out there. I do love Emma Watson's portrayal as Belle in this. I like the look of the Beast. I don't think he looks weird. I think he looks like what he's supposed to look like, a beast. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you can say that like the objects may look a little weird, but that's what they would look like. That's one of the arguments I don't really like about live action is people saying the look. That's realistic. That's what that is going to look like. Whether or not it translates good, a clock is going to look like that. A candle is going to look
Yeah.
like that. A teapot is going to look like that. Like, it's not. I love the look of the animated film. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel when I think about this film and I see it portrayed in the musical aspect, I also love whoever plays Gaston. I forgot his name. You also have Josh Gad in this. Um, I think with the story of this film and really getting that heart behind it, I feel like live action does it a little better. Regardless of the look of everything around it in terms of compared to the animation. I think if you're really showing this relationship between somebody that's literally a beast and a human and showing what that looks like in live action, um, and you do it well, yeah, like I think it's slightly a little higher, than the original. And again, the original is amazing. Like I love both of them, but I love Owen McGregor. He voices Lumiere. Come on, like, and again, that song alone puts it a little bit higher on my list. Um, I think for me, because this was one I was thinking about going in because this is one of my tops for a live action Disney film. I think I'm gonna give it to the live action, controversial or not. I got to put live action above this. I feel like
Um,
you're not going the same way I'm going.
if I had to choose, I would have went the cartoon, like just because like I said, it's a beautiful adaptation of the cartoon movie, but there's just something about the cartoon that just hits the sweet spot, because again, just the way the characters look, and I mean, again, I can give it to you. Obviously, that I'm sure the vocals and the music is probably a lot better in the live action. And the live action one looks great. Like I said, I could be persuaded for both of these. If I had to fight you on it, I would just give it to the cartoon because again, I feel like this is one of the uh, instances where, for me, and this is me personally, the nostalgic classic feel outweighs the newer adaptation of it. And if I had to sit down and be like, oh, do you want to watch Beauty and the Beast? Be like, yeah, which one? And then I'd probably be like the cartoon. Um,
I can
but
agree that look is important, and I'm not
mm,
gonna fight you on it, honestly, because either way, I think both of
well,
them
the
are a
thing is,
win.
the only thing that is interesting about this is that you see the other two movies that it has to go up against. And
What
if
is
we
the
put the
next one?
live
Christopher
action one,
Robin? Oh, Christopher
it's gonna
Robin.
be Winnie the Pooh and then Christopher Robin. Whichever one of these we put through, that's gonna be another topic. Um, so I think to agree with you, and just because I'm too tired to really back up my argument, I
You
think
don't
we're just
have
gonna
to
go
agree
live
with me. I
action.
mean, I do
No, I
agree
mean,
in
but I
terms
mean,
of
you
anime.
made some solid points. Honestly, I mean, again, the songs and the vocals are beautiful in this movie. It looks stunning. I mean, even though that the objects look like how they would in real life, they're still cute. I think the objects in the old movie will take the live action ones any day of the week.
100%.
So we break if we break it down object wise, right? We got the teapots, we got the clock, Lumiere, right? Those objects animated 100 times better than live action.
Oh, yes.
Um, and that's just because you can see more personality and characteristics in them, versus the live action for obvious reasons. Breaking down the beasts, I mean, I think they're practically the same. The beast in the live action one might have a little bit more of an edge because of the vocals and just the songs. Um, Breaking down the live action and the cartoon Belle, as much as I love Emma Watson, I think she does a great job. I probably put the cartoon Belle over her just because I think a couple of her songs and the way she sang were better than Emma Watson. Even like pairing up like Gaston and like all like the henchmen and stuff.
Mhm.
I think although the live action Gaston looked pretty good, I again looking at the classic feels and everything, I think everybody could picture the classic Gaston, and his little like sidekick. So, I mean, when I pair it up side by side, I mean, these movies are like right. I don't know if you can see me on the screen, but they're like right here. They're like super close. Um, but I don't know. For some reason, I want to give this to the cartoon, but I'm gonna go a certain direction when it comes to the other movies. So because of this, I think I'm just
I
going to
wonder
agree
what
with you, and
direction
I'm
you're going for the next one
and I'm
because
gonna
I don't know
do.
what you're going direction.
So obviously we have Christopher Robin and we have Winnie the Pooh.
That's
Um,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
and it's the direction that I'm going for this movie. I was gonna go 100% cartoon because when you got Winnie the Pooh and you got characters like this, there's nothing that could beat these classic characters. I mean, they look great in live action. I've heard a lot of great things about Christopher Robin. I've unfortunately never seen it, but I've seen clips of it. I hear it's great. But when you just look at these characters side by side, even though they look, pretty good in live action form, there's nothing that's gonna beat these classic cartoon characters. I mean, again, you got Tigger here and you got Tigger here. You got Pooh and you got Pooh. It's just and I know Christopher Robin has a little bit more of a different story because they're telling you when he's grown up and everything. So it's almost like a sequel to Winnie the Pooh. But I think when you're talking about like these characters as a whole, I think this is one of the examples of just the classic notion of it takes the cake. I think Christopher Robin is a good example of one of those live action movies that did just as good or did decent, similar to just how we talked about Beauty and the Beast. So I think Winnie the Pooh, for me, at least cartoon wise, would go over Christopher Robin, which is why I was hesitating to put the cartoon Beauty and the Beast over. Because if we would have put the Beauty and the Beast cartoon version and Winnie the Pooh through, I honestly would have had no idea who to choose if it came down to that.
What I gotta say is like I do like how again like I think both of these movies are great, and I like that Christopher Robin is a little bit is different from Winnie the Pooh in the sense of him being grown up and him kind of finding that childlike imagination again. The looks are a little different, but again, like that's probably what they actually look like in real life. If you actually ever seen the dolls, like based off of the stuffed animals, whatever you want to call it, based on Winnie the Pooh, that's actually kind of similar to what they look like, and I think it is a beautiful film. But with how classic Winnie the Pooh is, of course, the animated is going to take the cake just on looks alone, and him being a kid kind of helps in the sense of adventure and what Winnie the Pooh's about. So I'll agree with my brother here and give it to animated.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh over Christopher Robin.
What do we got next?
Oh man, I forgot how many live action takes
It really
were
has
made
does not seem
on
from what I know.
now. I don't think I've seen the live action Dumbo. Obviously,
I
I've
have not
seen
either.
the cartoon Dumbo. We can both agree that whether it's cartoon or live action, it has a pretty tragic opening. Okay,
Oh
it's
yeah.
they're both sad regardless. Um, but I don't know. It's hard for me to decide because I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the cartoon, and again, I haven't seen the live action Dumbo. I mean, for the sake of my naivety, I mean, I just want to put the cartoon version of Dumbo through just because that's the only one that I know. Unless you have an argument for, the live action.
I think live action is just gonna be more sad in the sense of what the difference is.
Mhm.
Um, from what I know about the film, because again, I didn't see it because it's a sad film. I don't want to watch the animated and I don't want to watch the live action. It's about a baby elephant getting separated, being used in a circle. It's fucked up. I'm sorry. It's, but I know Danny DeVito was in it. That's cool. But I think just based
He
on
probably played like, what did he play? Did he play like
he played one of the circus people. I don't even know. He might have played
oh,
like the
okay.
guy in charge. But just based off of like how, like, you know, cause I like Dumbo and like, I like the look of Dumbo and everything. And I actually, elephant is my favorite animal. I love elephants. Um,
He does love elephants. Mm.
I do love elephants. Do I have any elephant things? Oh,
Did you just show me one like before we started recording, just to show you how much he loves elephants.
oh, god damn it. Share.
Oh, he's stuck. Oh, he's stuck.
Ahead of me.
Oh, there he is.
Look at this little guy. Look at him.
Yeah, look.
Look
No.
at this little guy. Chilling. All right, you stay right there, buddy. I'm gonna give it to animated, just
Okay.
because of the
And I'm
story.
sure the live action Dumbo is a good movie if you like fast forward the first couple of minutes, and you just don't watch the sad part.
Yeah,
Ooh, why are we getting all the good ones back to back, man?
no, right? Because like I actually like the live action Aladdin. I think it's a good rendition. Like, so
Okay, hear me
right off
out.
the bat,
Hear me out. I think the decision on which Aladdin takes the cake is which genie was better.
Robin Williams.
I mean, I
It was
think
gonna come
the
down to
character.
that. At that point, it was gonna
Yeah,
come down to that.
I think the characters for every other part are pretty much about the same.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, again, the music in the live action, was great. Same as the cartoon. But again, you gotta look at the genies. Will Smith, I thought he did a good job as the genie, but R.I.P. Robin Williams. There's never going to be a better person to do the genie than
yeah,
Robin Williams.
hundred
And again,
percent.
it's a shame to just like write it off so easy, but I think everybody in the comments or anybody that's listening, that's how they would decide this movie. Basically, just like who's the better genie.
Realistically, it's true. I mean, that's again, like I think they are both pretty equal in terms of the other characters and how it's portrayed, music, everything, look, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, one of the characters that pretty much makes the film is the genie, and you just can't be Robin Williams, no matter how good of an actor you are, no matter how hard you try. Will Smith, you were great as the genie, but Robin Williams, he's got that edge over you.
There we
What's
go.
next?
Easy peasy.
Really like, oh, is the line? Oh,
Oh, son of a.
I don't even think that was a real poster for the Lion King on the right
Well,
side of the
I
poster. That
think
doesn't look
we
real.
I mean we talked about it a couple minutes ago, but I think we agreed that we were going live action Jungle Book for a reason because again,
Yes.
you put both these movies side by side, they're great. I personally love the live action Lion King. I
So
know
do
a lot
I.
of people didn't like it for some reason. I
Don't
loved it.
understand.
I thought it was great. The music was awesome, and I just thought they
Yeah.
did such a great job with the CGI and just making everything look as realistic as possible. But I mean, hello, you got Samuel Jones as Mufasa.
Daniel
All right,
Jones.
I knew I messed it up. I'm so sorry, Mr. Jones. I don't know why, because I had Samuel Jackson on the mind. That's why. Got James Earl Jones as Mufasa. I mean, the voice of Darth Vader. I'm pretty sure he did the voices in the live action version
Yes,
too.
he also did. He
But
also did the
again,
voice.
there's just something that hits different about the cartoon characters. Rafiki, especially that classic scene from the cartoon that's like seen like at like every inspirational TikTok where he's like
Yeah.
telling Simba like, "Oh yes, the past could hurt, but you gotta either run from it or learn from it." It's like that's
Mhm.
one of the best scenes in the film. Obviously, the stampede is tragic in both movies, I think it hits a little bit more in cartoon versions, just because in live action it's like okay, you could see that stuff happening like on a rare occasion, but in the
So messed
cartoon
up.
it's
Like,
in the cartoon there's just so much more emotion behind it, obviously, where like it makes it more messed up. You know what I mean?
again, I
And the
agree.
look of the look of Scar and the hyenas in the cartoon is a little bit better for me than the live action, to be honest. I mean, again, I understand live action animals and stuff, but I really like the way Scar looked in the cartoon.
Yeah, like I agree. And like one of the things is though, I will argue about the live action Lion King all day long for the rest of my life because I do not understand the hate behind this movie. The biggest complaint I've seen is people are like, I don't like the look of the animals. Too freaking bad. That's what animals look like. Yes, of course, they're not going to look like, again, you could Mufasa, Simba, what's it called? Rafiki, Scar. Like, yeah, they have a little bit different of a look in, the cartoon. And the live action one, that's what they legit look like. And I like the voice acting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't, change out James Earl Jones because he pretty much made both these films. But I liked, Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. But I also love the voice acting in the first one. And, that's something that's a little different. But I love the live action Lion King. I think it was great. Again, the music's great. I like the look. I think, again, if we're talking realistically what that would have looked like, that's what it would have looked like.
I feel like this is not a real poster. This just
It's
doesn't.
not.
I
I'm
never
telling you, it
seen.
looks like Narnia.
Yeah, that's what I
That
thought it
Lion
was at first. I thought it was like the Lion King going up against Narnia, and I was like, why? I was like, why do we have this?
and like they have real posters for the movie, so I don't know why I put that one, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but again, the cartoon has the edge over it for several reasons that my brother already talked about. But again, love to both of them. But animated is gonna take it.
Yep. Alrighty. Animated it is.
Let's see, can we get like an easy one then?
Okay. Next one, Lady and the Tramp. Now, I will tell you, I've never seen the live action one, although it looks adorable based on that poster. Um, I have seen the cartoon one, not too much, but again, I think a movie about dogs, I think they're going to be adorable either way, but I think, I don't know, there's just something probably really cute about live action versions of dogs, and then like
Yeah,
also like the cartoon versions. This one's kind of hard. I mean, because I've never seen the live action version, but I mean, come on. I mean, like, look at them. I mean,
you
it's
know
like,
what? I think just because of the look and like what they're going for, like the lady and the tramp, lady dog and the scruffy looking tramp. Based on that poster alone, live action.
because come on, look at that. I mean, how can you not? I mean, again, they
Adorable.
look cute. They look cute in cartoons too, but for dogs, it's like you cannot take, okay. I
What?
feel like this should be kind of an easy one because I've never seen 102 Dalmatians.
But why
Um,
is it going up against Maleficent? Is that because that's the second one?
yeah, I think so. Maybe they're putting up like the sequels like against each other. Um, I always thought that the Maleficent movies were pretty strong. I always enjoyed them. I've never seen 102 Dalmatians,
I mean, how
so
much different can it be? Like, I
and
just
then especially if they did a live action version of 102 Dalmatians, I never even heard of it.
yeah,
Um, so that just kind of gives you an idea of how good that turned out.
yeah. I think the Maleficent's got to take it.
Okay. And I
Yeah.
think the final one for this side of the bracket is going to be, Alice looking through the looking glass or Mary Poppins Returns. So we got two sequels coming against each other. Oof, this
Hmm.
is kind of the tough one because I mean, again, I really enjoyed the live action Alice in Wonderlands. I mean, again, you got the actress returning as the Queen of Hearts. You got Johnny Depp returning as the Mad Hatter. But Mary Poppins was really good. I mean, I don't remember the second one too much, but I remember the first live action one. I mean, that one was great. So I mean, I wouldn't see why this one wouldn't be great as well.
Yeah, and Lin-Manuel Miranda knows his music. Emily Blunt, great actress. Um, as
I
far
mean,
as I
you
know, it's not.
if anything, you might be able to speak more on it because you guys did like Mary Poppins, like in theater and stuff like that. So
Fun fact: Dick Van Dyke was actually in Mary Poppins Returns as the character I played in the live action one, like the bank teller or the bank guy, whatever, the bank chairman, so some bank guy. And he was dancing. Dude's crazy. Don't know how he still does it. I think just because of how much I enjoy Mary Poppins and the musical aspect of it, and since we already picked one of the live action Alice in Wonderlands, I think I want to give it to Mary Poppins.
Sure. Yeah, I agree with you. All right,
Yeah,
that ends the left side. Oh, wait, oh, okay, I see what it did there. Okay, so I guess we're doing the whole left side first, just the way this mode works. So we're gonna be doing the left side, then we're gonna be going to the right side. Okay, so I mean this should probably get down, a little bit easier. So now we got the cartoon 101 Dalmatians going up against the live action Alice in Wonderland. Huh. I think for me personally, I'd probably take the live action Alice in Wonderland again. Because
I
now I'm thinking about which ones did I enjoy more, you know?
I think I want to agree with you because as much as I love 101 Dalmatians, I think I slightly like Alice in Wonderland a little more. I like that it's weird. I think that's kind of cool.
No, I agree.
And I don't mind the look. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, Alice in Wonderland it is. Oof. Okay. And I think when we reverse the table, as much as I love Maleficent, again, there's just something, about
There's
Cinderella.
something magical about Cinderella.
Yeah.
There's
I
something
mean, I feel like Cinderella was one of the movies that like kicked it off for Disney, and I mean, you just can't go wrong with this classic. I mean, any
Black
live
Bus Quest,
action,
you know,
it doesn't
got the
matter what live
little
action
mouse.
is put up. It doesn't matter what live action is put up against. It's just that it has the seniority and it has the nostalgic value, like that just kind of like overcomes everything. So
That's fair. That's
yeah.
fair. I got you.
All
I get
right,
it.
Cinderella. Okay.
Jungle Book.
Yep. Jungle Book. Don't even need to say anything about
The
that.
poster's like even bigger. Like,
Now
ooh.
this is going to be hard. I mean, you've already made a ton of arguments for the live action Beauty and the Beast. I've made a ton of arguments for the cartoon Winnie the Pooh. Um, I don't know. I mean, seeing what this movie is going to go up against, it is going to go up against the Jungle Book. So I feel like whichever one we picked here would win against the Jungle Book. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a win-win situation. It just depends on whether or not this live action take is better than.
It
I don't
depends. Like
know.
now we got to think about it in the sense again. Like which one are we going to think about in the sense of which one will we more like? Which one would you rather sit there and watch, or
Well, the thing
which?
is, like, Winnie the Pooh kind of has like a soft spot in my heart. So like, I probably still watch it to this day, even though I love the live action Beauty and the Beast. But I don't know.
See
This is kind
now,
of viewers. What do you think?
they're
For those of you
both
that are listening,
they're both very yeah. Just we'll give you
just
10 seconds.
shout out your answers in the car or
Yeah,
at home, wherever you are.
just give it 10 seconds. Yeah, I wonder what you guys said. Um, but if I'm thinking
Just
about it
imagine like
now,
somebody listen. Just imagine like somebody listening to this or like watching this and like screaming at like their
it's
phone or
just
like
like
computer.
Dora. It's like, can you tell me which Dora? Right, right. Thinking about how Winnie the Pooh is a feel good character, right? Kid like imagination, characters people can relate to. Beauty and the Beast, it's a classic story. Now the thing with Disney, there's so many classic stories
Yeah.
because of the
And I
fact
mean,
that Winnie
we haven't even got to the second half of this list yet. And so I mean, there are a ton of other princesses that like we haven't even covered yet.
because of the fact that Winnie the Pooh has characters that represent things that a lot of people can relate to, I'm gonna give it to Winnie the Pooh just
I
because of
love
that.
that, and I know what I love how you brought that up because I feel like that's a part of these movies, or the
Mhm.
characters that a lot of people don't know. So I love how you made that reference. Okay, as much as we love Dumbo, I mean, I think
Aladdin,
just again Aladdin, that's
yeah.
just the way it has to be. Um, oof, again, same thing. I mean, again, even though
Yeah,
these dogs
it's
look
gotta be
adorable, it's gotta be Lion King. Some of these brackets are gonna be hard then, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know.
I
I
don't
mean,
remember so much about the second one. I have seen the second Maleficent.
mhm.
Again, there's the original Mary Poppins. I don't know if the original Mary Poppins is on this list. I
Well, the
guess
thing
not.
is, none of these are going up against anything. So one of these is gonna move up to this spot right here. So it's gonna face the winner against Aladdin or Lion King. So I mean, just keep that in mind. I wouldn't be upset if we went Mary Poppins here.
I feel like I gotta pick
Because
Mary
I think we
Poppins.
could
I just think
agree
it's
that
a
like
fun film.
whatever live action wins here, I don't think it's gonna win against either
No,
Aladdin or Lion King, you know.
no, definitely not. It would be
So
very
all
hard
right,
to.
yeah, we'll give it to Mary Poppins then.
Nice.
Mary Poppins. Okay, and then we're back. All right, so
Mm,
we got Alice in Wonderland and we got Cinderella. Um, again, is this one of those situations where it's just like the nostalgic classic beats out the live action, or is there an argument for why the Alice in Wonderland could be better than Cinderella? Because
You
this could
know,
be huge. Because I mean, whoever wins this goes to the semifinals, and I mean, I'm okay with Alice in Wonderland ending up in the quarters, but I don't think I could see it moving on until like the semis or even the final.
that's the thing. Like again, Cinderella is like that. It's a classic. It's you know it's Disney. That's like that's what Disney is. Alice in Wonderland again. It gives us a totally different look of what Disney can do.
Uh,
Um, both very different stories. You got a prince and a princess, and you got Alice in Wonderland. Alice brings that wonder, but Cinderella brings that magic. I think of what, as much as I love wonder, magic is what makes
Disney.
Disney,
Yeah.
and Cinderella brings is magic. So
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta say
I
Cinderella.
think I think this bracket is going to be, at least the left side is going to be very cartoon heavy. Okay. Jungle Book or Winnie the Pooh. See,
I
because
think
now, I
only
mean, we've heard the arguments for both movies, but then I think what you just said about how each character kind of represents a different like mental health issue that goes on in people's lives, with that theme behind it, I think it adds a little bit more weight. Um, and I just feel
I
like I
was
don't know.
gonna
I feel
say
like
Winnie the Pooh.
yeah, I feel like again with this live action Jungle Book, I think it's good enough to make it to the quarters, but I just when it gets up to some of the classic cartoons, it can't be beat. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
this is interesting.
Okay, I think before we even say anything, on the count of three, we're just gonna say whatever movie we're thinking about at the top of our heads. Okay? All ready? Three, two, one. Lion King.
Lion King.
Okay, there you all right,
Got
that
it.
was easy.
Thank God.
Okay. I really thought you were gonna say Aladdin, to be honest.
I was weighing, but the thing that really got me towards Lion King is I like Aladdin. Genie is what makes that movie. Lion King, everybody makes that movie. It's just more people that make the movie. I'm gonna go with Lion King plus
There
Darth
we
Vader.
go. Yeah, yeah. And like you said, there's more memorable characters. Like everybody loves Simba and Nala, and obviously everybody loves
Mhm.
Scar, the hyenas, Timon and Pumbaa. I mean, again, everybody loves Jasmine and Aladdin and the genie, but I just named like six characters over three characters. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's just again, they're both great iconic movies. Aladdin, if it was in any other bracket up against any other movie, it would take the cake. But unfortunately, in these brackets, you're gonna have two titans go head to head, and it's always
yeah.
gonna be a tough choice. So yeah, all right, Lion King. Oh, okay, all right. Oh, now, Cinderella versus Winnie the Pooh.
Again,
This one is a little bit is deeper because we've we've had Cinderella ride this train of just having it be nostalgic and magical and like being like kind of like the birth of like Disney cartoon and I mean, she's like the original princess, so it's like, does that does everything labeled there trump out Winnie the Pooh and the nostalgic memories of being a child and having these imaginary friends and having them each represent a little part maybe of himself or maybe people in his family, and that's why they act the way they do, and that childlike wonder. And I mean, do we bring this up to like another 3, 2, 1 situation and just say what's at the top of our minds?
I'm sorry, but I love the message behind Winnie the Pooh. As much as I like the magic and of Cinderella and the story of a true princess, you could kind of say. Um, I feel like with just what Winnie the Pooh represents, it's a stronger, it's a stronger film.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or
Wow. Okay. We've been pretty good today. We've been agreeing on the
yeah,
same things. I mean, I was gonna go Winnie the Pooh too. So I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
because
Okay.
again,
All
like
right.
yeah,
Again, I think again, same thing with Aladdin and Lion King. Any other bracket, any other movie, I think Cinderella would go straight to the semis. Maybe even win the final. But again, Winnie the Pooh, and then I think now that we've unlocked like the deeper message behind it, like there are going to be movies that are going to have a hard time competing with Winnie the Pooh. Honestly.
oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
All right, Winnie the Pooh into the semis.
That means
Um,
Lion
do
King.
we do we? Yeah, okay. I was like, do we
Yeah,
even have to talk?
I love Mary Poppins, but it's the Lion King. This is hard. All right, this is probably the most difficult, if not one of the most difficult ones, because they both have great messages. You know,
Yeah.
they both have great characters. You know,
I mean,
Lion
let's
King.
see. Let's see what we got on this side. It looks like we have a lot of remakes. So we have like a lot of sequels going up against each other, or a lot of like unnamed or like unknown movies. Like I see we got I forgot what this movie's called. But we got Frozen. I see like another Cinderella. Like we got Little Mermaid. So we got some like well-known movies on this side. It just depends on like if any of these could go up against either Winnie the Pooh or The Lion King. So it's almost
See,
like whoever we choose on this side is going to win the whole bracket.
see now what I'm thinking about is in terms of. See now I don't know if I'm thinking about in terms of enjoyability, watchability, or if I'm also thinking about in terms of what these films
Okay, well,
represent.
let's break it down, right? So let's talk about enjoyability. All right, I think me personally, enjoyability, Lion King gets the point in enjoyability. Okay, I
Hmm.
mean Winnie the Pooh is fun to watch, but I think people would probably choose Lion King more than they would Winnie the Pooh. So I think in the enjoyability category, the Lion King has it. Watchability, I think both these movies are tied because I think there's nothing saying that anybody could watch Winnie the Pooh and The Lion King. So I think they're both tied for that. But again, Lion King has 2 points now, and Winnie the Pooh only has one. The deeper message behind it, I think the point goes to Winnie the Pooh because again, each of those characters represent the mental health issue, and obviously mental health awareness is very prominent in today's culture. So I think the message would resonate more, versus the Lion King. Um, uh, Characters, I feel like both movies have really well-known characters. So I feel like they both get a point. So they're still tied. They're still tied when you break down the brackets. It's just I think at the end of the day, this is just going to come down to our personal favorite and what we would sit down and enjoy more. Like if me and you were to sit down and be like, "Oh, let's watch a movie." Okay, do you want to watch Winnie the Pooh or The Lion King? Like, what are we choosing? Like, 9 out of 10 times.
It would have to be Lion King.
Yeah. Again, as much as I really love Winnie the Pooh, I'm thrilled that it made it to the to the semifinals because I feel like it definitely deserves the love. But there's just something about the Lion King that just cannot beat Winnie the Pooh. Um, and that just comes out to our own personal opinion.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so Lion King is going to be the first movie that is in our final matchup.
Very cool.
All right, now we are starting with the other bracket.
I absolutely have no idea what the one on the right is, and never seen the one on the left. Oh wait,
Okay, well,
Fantasia.
Fantasia is awesome. I mean, like this is the movie that's like based off of like the live action performance that they have at the parks.
Okay,
Um, and
yeah, that all the way.
I've seen it once, but It's really good. I never even heard of this movie, Rescuers Down Under.
Yeah, nope.
Um, so again, this bracket's gonna be very easy for us to go through because I mean, a lot of these movies probably never even heard of, never even seen. Okay. Jungle Book 2. Didn't even know they made a second one. Or Peter Pan, Disney, Return to Neverland. Now, is this like a second movie, or is this the actual name of the movie? You know what I mean? Like, is this like the first one and it's just called Return to Neverland, or is this like a
No,
sequel?
I think it's a second one because the look is very different from the first Peter Pan. Oh my goodness. I don't really like Peter Pan. I'm assuming neither of these were really that good, because I didn't even
Yeah.
know they had a Jungle Book 2. Um, I'm just gonna say the Jungle Book 2.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I mean, for those of you that are listening or watching, a lot of these movies or sequels, at least cartoon wise, we probably have never seen. So,
Yeah.
just take it with a grain of salt. I mean, we have no idea what we're doing. So we're just trying to use our best opinion. Ooh, Ralph Breaks the Internet 2 or Frozen 2? Um,
Hmm.
I feel like this is not fair because both these movies are great. Trying to remember Ralph Breaks the Internet 2.
Is the original Frozen on this list? Doesn't look
Um,
like it.
no, it's not actually.
Now we both worked Frozen 2, and I like the music. Again, characters are pretty much the same. Um,
The scene where Olaf dies temporarily is heartbreaking, and I cried.
yes.
I mean, should we? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to give it to Frozen just by looking at it. I feel like it's not
I
fair that these two are kind of matched up together.
I think I want to give it. I think I want to give it to Frozen 2.
Yeah. All right. I mean, Ralph Breaks the Internet, like the first one and the second one, they're
I do
both
like Wreck-It
great.
Ralph. I think I think they're good movies, but I feel like Frozen is just a little more. It's got a little bit more to offer. You
Yeah.
know.
No, I agree. Yeah. And again, it's that originality that we're looking for, where like whole new princesses and
Yeah.
whole new culture and area. Obviously, like um, Elsa and Anna, they're based off of like Scandinavia and everything. So I mean, you just got a whole new concept, but then you also got a new whole concept here, and Disney kind of brings in like the retro gaming aspect to their world.
Yeah, which is
But
pretty
I
cool.
just having them matched up against each other, it has to be Frozen too. So
Agreed.
okay, Cinderella
Cinderella
2
2
versus
and
Cinderella 3.
I what? I didn't even know there was three. I didn't even know there was two.
See, this is what we're talking about. Where it just again, this just goes to show. Quick tangent. This goes to show that even before live action, there were Disney cartoon movies that didn't do very well or are not well known at all. Like I had no idea that they made a second or a third Cinderella. And like
Oh
it
yeah.
seems like the third Cinderella is like a what if because it's like what if the slipper didn't fit? Question mark. So it's like is this like a what if scenario if like Cinderella didn't get the slipper? Like that one seems more interesting than the
I
second
was
one.
gonna say, you know what? Based off of that what if scenario, freaking give it to Cinderella 3.
Now
um,
I'm gonna let you take this. You probably haven't seen any of them, but I'm just gonna let you take it since you're just a big Little Mermaid fan.
what is
So the one on the
Little
right is an
Mermaid?
origin story or like a prequel to the Little Mermaid, and then obviously the one on the left is the Little Mermaid 2, which focuses on her and Eric's daughter.
Her daughter's name is Melody. I love that name. That's Ursula's sister, from what I know. Um,
She also
you know
makes
what?
her Ariel's aunt, and then also makes her Melody's great aunt.
I like the name. I like Melody. Um, haven't seen either, even though I love Little Mermaid. But I like the character of Ariel, and an origin story to me is better than a second movie of a classic film, because I just do not think you could do like, again, a Little Mermaid, you cannot do it justice if you do a sequel. Um, so I am gonna say Ariel's Beginning.
Okay, all right. Ariel's Beginning. Here we go. We got our resident Little Mermaid expert in the house.
Why does the other side like not have the live action? What even are those?
Beauty and the Beast, the Enchanted Christmas Special Edition, or the Beauty and the Beast Belle's Magical World. What the hell are these movies?
I don't even know.
Why does
Like,
the other side have like nothing but like there's no original ones? Like I mean, I was expecting I should have looked at it beforehand, but right. I would just kind of go Christmas one here just
that's what
because
I was gonna say.
it looks nice.
All right, what is the
All
next
right.
one?
I apologize, dear viewers and listeners.
What?
The Return of Jafar.
King of Thieves? Is he wearing an Elvis outfit? What's going on?
Ooh, but it's starring Robin Williams though.
If it's got Robin Williams, give it to the King of Thieves just because it's a cool name.
And Jafar kind of looks mischievous here. Like, what's he
He
looking at them
does.
like that for? Like,
Yeah. What's going on down there? Pocahontas 2 and
This one
Mulan
makes
2.
no sense because what world are they journeying to if she was the one that lived in the Americas in the first place?
Are they going to Europe?
Like, I didn't even know they made a second Mulan.
The hell would it be about? Like,
Okay, now
she's
like
just
should we look at these movies with like a grain of salt? So like, okay, so for example, instead of seeing this as like Pocahontas 2 and Mulan 2, why don't we picture that this is Pocahontas and then this is Mulan? So knowing that this is Pocahontas now and then this is Mulan, which one, and they're both the cartoons because obviously I don't think they've made a live action Pocahontas yet.
probably Mulan.
All right, we're gonna take. I mean, I like the story of Pocahontas.
So do I.
I just think Mulan is a little bit more on it.
Yeah.
Especially some of the songs in this cartoon like slapped. Not this one specifically, but just
Yeah.
Mulan.
Lion King 2 and the Lion King 1.5.
I only remember this one because I remember this little kid and like how he was just like constantly picked on and ridiculed because like he was from that like Scar tribe of like lions.
Yeah.
I don't really remember anything about the Lion King 1.5, but it's an all new movie.
And it's you don't know the half of it. That's pretty good. That's pretty
Uh,
good. I feel like the second one is more popular. I really never heard anybody talk about 1.5. I know it's out there, but again, I've never watched it myself.
so we're giving this to, and just keep in mind, I don't think there's been any live action movies on this side of the bracket. So
No,
we're
and
kind
they
of
literally have a live action Mulan, and they
we're
have
kind
a
of
live
seeming
action Little
we're kind of
Mermaid.
seeming a little one sided here in our decision, but just know that like we're not doing this intentionally. Um, okay, pretend that this is the original Bambi, and then the original Brother Bear.
Brother Bear.
Oh, really? That was can you just elaborate? Because I've never seen Brother Bear. So like, is it that good? Like that's better over Bambi?
Um, just based off like the message and like story of it, along with the music, yeah, in my opinion, it's better than Bambi. I mean, again,
But Bambi has Thumper.
it does have Thumper, but I don't know. I don't find Bambi like super entertaining. I feel I would rather watch Brother Bear. It's
But
got River Phoenix
but Thumper.
and it's got River Phoenix in it, I believe, or is it Hakeem Phoenix? I think both of them are in it actually, or whatever. But personally, I'd rather have Brother Bear.
But
Are you fighting for Bambi because of Thumper?
yeah,
I mean, if you want to give it to Bambi, I got no problem giving it to Bambi because it looks like nothing on this side is really going to compete with
I gave it to Bambi because of Thumper.
Scamp's Adventure. Give it to Scamp. Give it
Oh,
to that little boy.
okay. See, this is one of the sequels that I have seen because I do remember Scamp. What was that name that we made for that Scooby plushie? What was it, like Scrumpy? Scrumpy?
Scrubby? Yes, Scrumpy.
Hey guys, you wanna go caring?
Hey guys. And just
What the
100.
hell is this? 101 Dalmatians 2
That's not a
London
Dalmatian.
Adventure. Okay, all right, it's going to Scamp's Adventure.
The scamp. Crocs in the
Okay,
groove.
okay. Pretend that this is the Emperor's New Groove, and then this is Atlantis.
Boys in the Goose I know Atlantis is a very underrated film.
It is a very underrated film.
Emperor's New Groove, definitely funny. It's an enjoyable film, but I feel like because Atlantis is so underrated, I feel like you're gonna want to give it to Atlantis. You know?
Yeah, let's go for the underdog here.
Isn't it burning here?
Yeah, I mean, Emperor's New Groove is great. Kronk's New Groove, kiss, it's great.
Poison and Goose.
But yeah, we'll show some love to Atlantis. Shout out all the TikTokers that cosplay that one attractive girl from Atlantis that has like blue paint on her.
Yes, very interesting. We'll say so. What?
Ooh. Okay, pretend that this is the original Fox and the Hound, and then the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, do we go for the cute story about two unlikely friends becoming friends in animal form, or do we go for the sad but yet wholesome story of the Hunchback of Notre Dame and how he just ends up having a happy ending?
Hunchback's got some vocals. Fox and the Hound.
Did they want to do a live action Hunchback of Notre Dame?
They could. Honestly, I think it would do pretty well.
I think they want to. I think I've heard rumors about it.
Go for it. Fox and the Hound. It's a sad story. And you know what I like about it too is I like how the woman, I don't know if like she's a grandma or whoever that had the Fox and the Hound, and I guess was like, oh, the fox is too old, I have to get rid of it. Like she like looks like she is like distraught about it. I feel like there's a lot of heart behind the Fox and the Hound because it is a sad story and it probably realistically happens. Maybe not actually a fox and a hound.
And when you like see clips of it like on TikTok and you read people's comments, they say it's like one of the most like emotional or like just like not like depressing, but like it's if they sit down and watch it, like not only is it like nostalgic and classic for them, but like it makes them like shed a tear like every single time.
Give it to Fox and the Hound.
Yeah, right. Giving it to Fox and the Hounds.
What's that?
Okay, Lilo. Hey, do you want to take this one? I mean, because you're a little bit of a Stitch aficionado yourself,
Let's see. We got Leroy.
Phone Michaela real quick. Ask her which one's better.
We got Leroy and Stitch, and then we got Lilo and Stitch 2. Stitch has a glitch. Is that what it says?
Yeah. No, you're right.
You know what? Because he's wearing a tie, giving it to Leroy.
Okay.
He just, I don't know. What the hell is this?
All right. I think we can give it to Fantasia here.
Yeah.
Yeah, going up against the second Jungle Book. Again, I think we can give it to Frozen over Cinderella 3.
Absolutely. Even though I do like the one.
Hey, I'm gonna let you decide this, all right? Because you're the Little Mermaid guy, all right? I don't touch the Little Mermaid.
Let's see, we got the beginning of Ariel's.
Well, which one sounds like a better story? Like a nice enchanted Christmas with Beauty and the Beast, or the origin story or the beginning of who Ariel was?
I feel like we know who Ariel is in the first movie. Like we don't really need.
Do we though? But do we though? Like, do we know how she got the way? Do we know how? Do we truly know how she got the way she is in the movie?
You know what? Maybe they go over how she got her voice because she's got a fantastic singing voice.
And look, she's looking at something here. I mean, this has to be
looking
important,
at something. I don't know what that something.
And look at Sebastian. Look, he's risen up these girls right here.
Those are Ariel's sisters. Those are the Mer sisters.
He's risen up those Mer sisters.
It's got Flounder, And
King
Crane's over there. He's like,
oh, Ariel.
like
And this
Yeah,
woman looks. Oh, I wonder if this is Ursula maybe before she turned into like a octopus monster.
she was hot. Give it to Ariel.
Okay, okay, give it to Ariel. All right. Okay. So I guess if we're pretending that this is like the first Mulan, obviously we would go with the first Mulan, right?
Uh-huh. I'm giving it to Mulan.
Okay. If we're pretending that this is the first Bambi, does this sway your decision at all?
Yeah, give it to Bambi because we already have the original Lion King.
Give it to Bambi. Okay. Okay. If this is the original Atlantis and Scamp's Adventure, are we giving it to Atlantis, or is there an argument to be made?
I mean, Scamp is pretty cool.
Well, who would Scamp go up against? He would go up against Bambi.
Mm, I got a heart for Scamp. But Atlantis is an underrated film, and the look of it is very interesting. So sorry, Scamp. I'm giving it to Atlantis.
Nothing personal, Scamp. Nothing personal. Okay. Pretend this is the original Fox and the Hounds,
Fox in the Hound.
and
Get out of here,
yeah,
Leroy.
yeah. I was gonna say pretend that this is the actual Lilo and Stitch, but then if we did that, it would probably just go straight to the final, So then it's not, as interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of here, Leroy. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
This is tough, just because I feel like there's just something about this animation style and just the storytelling that is just so nostalgic and well done. But again, Frozen, even though it's the second one, it's such an iconic movie.
And I do love I do like the story. I do like that story. I do like the look. I love the music.
I mean, I wouldn't mind giving it to Frozen 2. I mean, it
I
doesn't bother
want to
me
give
that
it to
much.
Frozen, honestly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll give it to Frozen 2.
What do we got next? What do we got?
I will leave the floor to you.
Damn it.
Does Ariel's origin story beat out the first Mulan?
Listen. I like Ariel.
Listen, listen.
If we're talking about the original Mulan, I like Mushu. I do like Mulan. She's pretty badass.
You know what's
Ariel,
funny? I actually prefer the live action Mulan over the cartoon Mulan.
I really gotta watch it. Just because I've
It's
heard
pretty
that.
good.
Even though I know it's like pretty different, like in terms of like characters
Yeah,
or
but it
stuff.
was still an enjoyable film to watch.
You know what, Ariel? I will leave your beginning undiscovered, and I'm gonna give it to Mulan.
Ooh, burn. Nice.
Burn.
All right.
Hole.
Okay. Now we got, and again, for people that are listening, people that are watching, this is the original Bambi. I know it says Bambi 2. I know everybody can see it. I know you're listening to me and hearing me say Bambi 2, but this is Bambi. And then this is not Milo's Return. This is just the regular Atlantis. Okay? All right. Just to make that clear, because I don't want any comments and being like, why are they saying that but it's not? It's like, no.
Clearly says Bambi too. Why the heck are they saying Bambi? I don't know, random viewer. You tell us.
All right. So do we give it to Bambi here, or do we continue our underdog story? Because the underdog story can only go so far. So it's like, do we give it to Atlantis just because it's underrated and it deserves the limelight, or do we give it to Bambi because it's also a sad but yet beautiful animal movie, and Thumper is the best.
I don't actually know what the story of Bambi is, besides her mother dying and
Thumper, Thumper,
Thumper.
Thumper,
Like I
Thumper, Thumper, Thumper. He's always getting
because of
rizzed up by
Thumper,
that other like girl bunny.
because of Thumper, gotta say Bambi.
Yeah, Thumper. Okay. The original Mulan or Frozen 2?
Hmm.
We got a great example of old animation versus new animation.
That's true. That is true. Now, both very different stories. You can argue though that they are kind of both about finding yourself in a way. In a way. Um.
I just think the sad thing here is that like whatever we pick to match up with the Lion King, I don't think it's gonna beat the Lion King.
It
Even if
won't.
even if Frozen 2 like went all the way to the final, like I think Lion King takes the cake, you know? So I
I
mean
think
this
we
is just
both agree that Lion King is going to win
yeah,
because
I
it's
mean
just
this is just
very
like
good.
this is honestly just like our personal preference and like for fun, you know? So like whichever one we just think would make it as far as they could.
Because of how much I love the characters in Frozen. Like everybody on that poster, I love. Um, I want to give it to Frozen.
You know, now that I've seen like all these like sequel movies, I gotta like go on Disney Plus and I gotta watch like all these sequel
Yeah,
movies
we might as well. Like,
just to see like how bad they are, if they're actually good, and then we should like do a video, come back and like just talk about like Disney sequels and like just like shed some light on like all these movies.
it's like, has there been a good Disney sequel? Like, um,
All right, so we got the original Bambi or the Fox and the Hound.
I don't think Thumper's beating Fox and the Hound here.
Yeah, as much as I love Thumper, I just think the Fox and the Hound has like a more tragic but yet beautiful story behind it rather than Bambi. I mean, yeah, like Bambi loses her mother, but then like at the same time, like I feel like there's a lot more emotional stuff happening in Fox and the Hound.
That is very true.
So as much as I love Thumper, I think we gotta give it to Fox and the Hound here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Fox and the Hound. Okay, and then I think for the final one we have Fox and the Hound and Frozen 2.
Now, different stories. Got a lot of heart in both of them, honestly. Got a lot of emotion in both of them too. Got emotion on different sides though.
Mm-hmm. Now I think if we're purely looking at this matchup with emotion, the clips that I've seen of Fox and the Hound on TikTok, and that's only like a 2-3 minute video, right? Brought me to the brink of tears. Okay. And Frozen 2 never really did that besides Olaf. Okay. But if I could watch a 3 minute clip of the Fox and the Hound and have tears coming out of my eyes, and then sit there and watch a whole movie of Frozen 2 and only cry when Olaf dies, you know, that's at least how much of an emotional impact it has on me when it comes to these two movies. Because you ever see those like TikToks where it's like, oh, what if this like movie was shot like vertically, like it was
Oh
like
yeah.
shot with your phone? And I saw one of the Fox and the Hound. It was like the most beautiful TikTok I've ever seen. It was like, and that was the one that like brought me to tears.
I will say, because I care about emotion a lot, Fox and the Hound holds a heavy emotion. Give it to Fox and the Hound.
All right, giving it to Fox in the Hand. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the Lion King and we have Fox and the Hounds. Now, again, before we just say who the clear winner is here, I apologize. I thought this bracket was going to be a little bit more flushed out. I know Disney has made a ton of other live action movies, um, but unfortunately, it only gave us a couple of live action ones on the left side. But in all fairness, the left side of the bracket basically proved their point, where a lot of the live action movies went up against their original classic ones. And again, they were just both movies were just so good, but there could be arguments made for either one of them, you know?
True.
Um, and again, I mean, if anything, this bracket actually shed some light on another side of Disney, where just like how we talked about, you know, with live action and how like unsuccessful it is. I think the only sequel that I heard of on this list on the right side was Lion King 2 and
Yeah,
then Lady and the Tramp 2. Those are the only sequels that I ever heard of.
pretty
So
much.
it just goes to show that Disney's bad luck with movies didn't start like just recently. Like they've done sequels and even trilogies of their classic movies, and they're just so unheard of, or they were just so. If anything, I don't think they were poorly done. I think it was just they just couldn't capture the same magic that they did in the very first movie. Again,
Yeah,
Cinderella, you're never capturing that magic in the first Cinderella in those next two films. And then same thing with The Little Mermaid, same thing with Fox and the Hound and Brother Bear and Bambi and Lion King and so on and so on.
that's true.
But I think that kind of gives us a good area to consider. That the fact that like Disney's been making these cartoon movies for a while too, and obviously they didn't really have too many. But I would actually love to do a video where we like break down like all the sequel movies and like we see like which one is the best. Just because I think it would be fun, like just to kind of like shed a light on like all these movies that like nobody's ever heard of before.
Yeah, I gotta watch them. I mean, they're probably all on Disney Plus unless like they want to wipe them from the face of the earth. It's kind of like the Star Wars Christmas special. It's like we know it exists, but like it's just not out there because like it's apparently
Right.
atrocious. Like again,
So yeah,
I
so
don't I don't think anybody's sitting down to like be like, oh boy, Lion King 1.5. Like I don't
yeah,
think
right.
that's a thing. Oh, Cinderella 3, what would I have like no. It's
All right, so is it safe? I mean, obviously it's safe to say we're giving it to Lion King. So there we go. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but there you go. Okay, look, Lion King won the bracket. So obviously the hardest side to choose from was the left side, but again, we just went over. A lot of the live action competition was on the left side, and if I knew the bracket was going to be this way, then we might have chose differently. But at the end of the day, that just goes to show that there are some live action movies that are just as good as their cartoon counterparts, and then there are some live action movies that are not good, than their counterparts. And then we saw a whole new side of Disney where there are, trilogies or sequels being made that, one, nobody has heard about, and obviously they haven't panned out. So I guess, to summarize everything, which one is better, Disney live action or animation? I think right now, the way it stands, based on this bracket and based how we've talked about it for like the last 2 hours, um, I think we could say for now that Disney animation will still reign supreme until Disney, gets their act together and they put out more consistent and more positive live action movies. Again, we saw a great number of live action movies on this list: Aladdin, Lion King, Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast. But those were all like mid to like early 2000s. So we notice
yeah.
how like Disney's trend of live action has gotten progressively worse. So they did have some sort of formula figured out that was working great for them. They like all of a sudden they just like woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and then instead of waking up on the bed, they fell out of the bed, and then they had no idea where they were. So
Yeah. And then somehow they ended up in the backyard. And then like now
yeah,
they're at the
right.
neighbor's house. Like it's like, oh, Tim got out again, like so
So it's like, we see that if Disney could return to that magic that they had with the Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, then they're gonna have some success with live action. But I mean, honestly, again, the most recent live action was the Haunted Mansion. Obviously, nobody's really talking about that. It's probably not gonna really make a lot of money in the theaters. Um, so again, that just goes to show that unfortunately Disney is continuing on this negative trend for live action, and we'll have to keep our fingers crossed and pray that they get their shit together. Excuse my language, and you know they find the formula to success again. So, but that pretty much concludes our conversation. This was a fun bracket to do, and
this was.
it
I
was
enjoyed it.
nice reliving some classic Disney movies and remembering when we first watched them, and then now we're reviewing them like 20 years later.
That's crazy.
Um, and it was cool finding out that some of these franchises decided to like make more than one movie. But obviously, we saw how that turned out. Except for the Lion King and the Lady and the Tramp, those were probably more the two successful sequels. Because I remember seeing plenty of clips on Lady and the Tramp 2 with Scramp's Adventures. I mean, because and then again, Lion King. We don't really remember much about 1.5, but Lion King 2, was more memorable. So there were some franchises that had some success, but overall, these forgotten cartoons, sequel movies are just like the live action, and they just need some improvement. So we'll see where Disney is going to go in the future. But and obviously this just focused on like purely Disney. I mean, I know we know Disney owns like Marvel and Star Wars, so obviously we're not going to. I mean, this was just purely Disney, and then live action versus their cartoon parts. But that kind of sums up our conversation. If there is anything you would like to add, my dear brother, before we get into our uh, classic goodbye spiel, speak now or forever hold your peace.
So I think we kind of both concurred that Disney can be successful in live action, and we know they are successful in animation. They've proven they've made good live action films. They've proven they've made bad live action films. Who knows what the future holds? We'll see. I honestly feel like if Disney keeps going the way they're going, uh, I think they're going to end up making a decision at some point to completely just cut the idea of live action for a little while until they figure it out. But overall, it was definitely fun to talk about, and you don't realize how many good films Disney really has had, animated wise, and how they've actually been able to portray that in live action. Um, Again, guys, let us know on the socials, what you think of Disney's live action, or how you feel about animated and both live action. You think live action is just a money grab? Do you think it? Do you like seeing it? Do you it do do you find it more enjoyable, depending on the story? Like, let us know in the comments. Even on this episode. But closing out, um, summer's almost over. Summer movies are pretty much over. Barbie and Oppenheimer with a big two, and then we got TMNT, Turtles, and then we got Blue Beetle. So be on the lookout for that. For the rest of your summer. And again, we are Two Sons Podcast. That is Sons with an O, not a U, because we are two brothers. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I believe my brother also runs a TikTok account. Many apologies for the lack of content. Again,
It
won't
is
get into the
Philip
deep.
underscore macaroni.
Philip_macaroni for Two Sons Podcast.
I'm thinking like eventually when I change the username and everything back, I'm gonna make like an official like I'm gonna change it into like an official TikTok like for the YouTube at least. So I mean I know Joey, he has one like that is called Two Sons Podcast. That's supposed to be like the official one. So my part is that I'm gonna do like the YouTube one, so it's probably just gonna be called like Two Sons YouTube, and then I'm just gonna like post when like the videos come out on YouTube and stuff like that. So maybe you should, when you make the post for your, Instagram and Twitter and stuff, maybe you should post them to the TikTok too.
It's true. See, trying to grow every day. Um, like I was saying, what's it called?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry.
No, you got. I don't even know. But as I said in the beginning of this episode, this will be our 49th episode. So next episode is going to be our 50th episode, and that's a pretty big one. So expect something pretty big.
Seems like it's gonna probably be like a more personal episode, where we're just gonna kind of have like a casual conversation. We're just gonna talk about like the history of Two Sons podcast so far, like what made us like really get involved in podcasting and made us like take that step into doing it, and maybe going over like some of our like most like well known episodes or our best episodes. Some fun memories we've made, like how far we've come, all the countries that we have listeners in, and just truly what the podcast means to us. And we'll see how long of an episode it is, but it'll probably be like a more like kind of like personal, like emotional one.
Yeah, and again, let us know if you like those episodes, guys. I know a lot of people listen to podcasts about just anybody's lives. We're not going to get into detail about what's been going on in our lives, but it has been a lot lately for both of us. So that's why we don't really get to be on schedule with our content. But we every week I try to say we hope for change and differences, and again I'm still hoping for that, and I think it's close. I think, but we'll have to see. Again, as much as we can get out, like for example, it's a 2.5 hour episode, so that's good. At least if we don't get it out every week, we get out a good amount for you guys. And again, interact with us on socials. Whoever's out there, whether it's 1 or 10 of you, hit us up. DM me on Instagram. Let me know on Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. Interact with my brother's TikTok because I know a lot of people are on TikTok. Just let us know what you think, what we can do, how you feel, anything. But again, guys, thank you so much for coming back or joining us for the first time um, at Two Sons Podcast. Have a great day. Have a great evening. Have a great night. Have a great afternoon. Don't do anything stupid. Be safe out there. Go check out Barbenheimer. Eat some good food. Take a nice nap. Overall, have a good. I'll leave the rest to my brother.
That was a beautiful way to wrap up your words there, my dear brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, like Joey said, we appreciate you guys every single time you come out for the episodes. We try to stay consistent. We try to have an episode each week. But at the end of the day, if you like these longer style episodes, at least you'll probably be able to listen to it or at least watch it, over a couple of days. So that should give you, your 2 cents fix for the week. We'll try to stay as active as we can on the socials. We'll try to update you with any like movie news. When we plan to release the podcast and everything. I think we could safely say that I'm going to set the YouTube portion to be released tomorrow morning, and I'm sure my brother will probably set the podcast version to be released tomorrow before we both go to bed. So the episode should be available tomorrow morning. So a nice way to start off your week. I'm going to say probably around like 10 o'clock is when the episode is probably going to air. Both. So just check your platforms. Check the social medias. My brother will post when the episodes are out and everything. Just like I said, give us a follow on those. And yeah, like you said, everybody, please be safe. Have a good rest of the summer. Don't do anything stupid. Like I said, go back, enjoy some of our previous episodes, enjoy this one. Like I said, besides this one, go check out the other one that I posted a couple of days ago. And like I said, some of you are not subscribed, or not following us that are listening to us. I see the numbers. I see it. I saw that 15% of you are not subscribed. So if you're coming back for the YouTube videos, if you're interested, please, just give us a subscribe. It means the world when I see like one extra viewer or, one extra subscriber. Especially on the TikToks, if I post a TikTok and it has like hundreds and hundreds of views, don't be afraid to drop a subscribe. I mean, we're a good couple of guys, so come back for more. See if we're not professionals, but if anything, that should give you a more casual feel to it.
Professionally awesome.
Exactly. We don't have these fancy cameras or fancy setups, but we speak from the heart, and this is something that we're passionate about. So I don't care how we do it, as long as we do it. I'm happy. So with that. Once again, thank you guys so much for coming out today for our episode. Please look out for any announcements on the socials. Check back on YouTube and Spotify and all those good platforms tomorrow morning. Be safe. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and we will see you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.